This is the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver. Aaron is a huge fan of country music star Eric Church and is a member of his fan base, the Church Choir. Aaron has attended and continues to attend as many shows as possible, and along the way, he meets some incredible people. Each week, he'll introduce you to a fellow choir member, and together, they will share their awesome stories and life adventures. It's time to meet one of them right now. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host and choir director for the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast, Aaron Shriver.
Cheers. So welcome, guys. Another week, and I just realized about 30 seconds ago that my Coke from last week is still flat. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting night. So welcome. If you guys could hear me, see me, whatever else, let's say hey in the chat. Let's see, and hopefully this is working. Every week we have a new technical difficulty that I fight with, and it's always fun and interesting. But welcome. And for anybody that 3P this weekend, man, I don't know how you guys did that. Just sitting back watching this weekend was amazing to see the different stories come out of the shows and all the fun and interesting things. So we're gonna get to one of those shows here in a few minutes, but all right, well, I don't see nothing in the chat, so we'll see. I went live a little early tonight just for that reason. So let me check, make sure we're good to go. And we're gonna jump right into this episode. We got a good one tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have fun tonight with this. All right. I don't know. I think we're just gonna roll with it. If it's working, great. If it's not, sorry. So we're gonna go ahead and bring our guest tonight on, and let's see. Pray everything's working. What's up?
Hey.
Welcome, Joelle, everybody. So we might not even have a chat tonight. We'll have to wing it and see. So I did go live a little bit earlier tonight. So
You're right on time. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, right now I'm on time right now. Let's try and make sure we're up and running. Yeah, hey, it says we're live. We're good to go. All right.
Good to go.
Maybe no chat tonight, but hey, we're good to go. So no, don't want to do that. All right. So yeah, we have a chat on here, but not on here. So you and I are just gonna wing it tonight. If it loads up, it loads up.
Not very encouraging for the
Hey, no. Hey, here we go. Here we go. We got chat now.
I want to see. There we go.
We're just a little delayed on my end. Sorry, guys. So I want to make sure everything's working and good to go before we start talking, because everybody misses the fun stuff. So you got lucky and you flew into Atlanta this weekend, huh?
I did. Yep, on Saturday.
Nice.
Flew in with my friend from home who'd never seen Eric before, ever alive. Listens to all my stories. We've been friends for 23 years. And I flew her into Atlanta with me for her birthday, and we spent the weekend with Rosie and Heather and took in the show, and it was crazy insane. We literally, I think we got into it. We were up at 2 o'clock in the morning, our time to fly, and landed in Atlanta at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and kept going for 2 days. It was crazy.
So what you think of this show? I mean, what was the lineup? It was Brothers Osborne, Luke Combs, Church.
Yeah.
And just those three, or anybody else?
There was somebody else, but I have no idea who she was. Didn't pay attention. She was the first one, but not my kind of thing. Can't remember anything for the life of me. Should have been Ashley, so we could have had the major four in one night. Would have been amazing.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah. It was a great show. It was a fantastic show. Brothers Osborne were wicked. Luke Combs was awesome. And, of course, just Eric rocked it right out. Like, I don't even know how he did it.
How did Luke do in a stadium?
I prefer the smaller venue, to be honest. Really prefer the smaller venue. It's far more intimate. We had great seats behind you, but I don't know how he pulled it off after the 2 nights in Washington, from the stuff everybody shared and watching those shows and seeing what he pulled off, and then doing it again I think he did 22 songs on Saturday night. I don't know where he gets it.
I mean, well, he played at least 3 hours both nights. So that's 6 hours, and he played 90 minutes on Sundays.
Yep. And he played hard. Like it
You
was.
ain't gonna have no voice for California.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how he's gonna do it. I really don't.
He's gonna be off for a while after that.
Yeah,
Oh
too
yeah.
long. We need him to like keep keep touring. He needs to come closer to my home though.
Oh yeah. Oh, I got lucky. I got a few up here: Milwaukee, Chicago, Green Bay. So I was all right with that.
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean, just these shots from Anthony here just look amazing from this weekend. I like the banner, how they had his name going around the stadium too. That was pretty cool.
It was really cool actually when you looked up in the 300 level, up in the center of the, I guess like the dome or whatever they had up there, and so that shape. It was really cool to watch actually, from even looking up and seeing all the stuff they had, because there was like screens at all 3 levels and the banner going around at all levels. It was really real nice stadium. I have to say, I was really impressed with the venue.
No, Sunday night too.
Yep. Yeah.
No, I've heard good things about this place, so definitely heard good things about us. That was good. All right, so there's Johnson. I'm slowly getting comments like they're delayed.
Let's go. All right, CJ, let's go.
He's ready too. So yeah, it looked like a good weekend. A lot of people went on Sunday too, I saw.
Yeah, it was crazy. We ran into Will and Lindsay and saw them hung out Saturday night, went for breakfast Sunday, hung out with them, and saw Andrew and Liz, saw Chris Geis. We saw a bunch of people we didn't get to run into. Saw Mike Strawberry. That was fantastic. So it's nice for me traveling so far away and living so far away. Probably should send you the map of where I live to where we travel to, because that's massive, but it's always worth it no matter how long it takes to get there. It's always worth seeing everybody.
You got your Carly Pierce was the other one they said opened up. Carly Pierce.
No, it wasn't Carly Pierce.
Oh no?
Kaylee Hammock.
Okay.
I don't know. Wasn't my thing. I'm not trashing on her, just wasn't my thing.
All right. Let's throw this up there. I love this photo. It's a fun photo.
That is a great photo.
So you got to tell me, where did your journey start for you? Where did you first hear of Eric Church?
Oh my. Where did I first? Well, living in Newfoundland, you don't get that opportunity to hear much of any really good music, but it was actually, I think, when I bought my first Jeep and I had Sirius radio on the highway. And so probably like 2010-ish, maybe. Might have been a little bit earlier than that. And I can't remember the song. I honestly cannot tell you what song it was. I just know that I heard this song and I loved the song. And I just, as I always do, because I can be quite obsessive, I went and read everything and downloaded every song, bought every, record and CD, and just started listening and was hooked from day one. Just, there was something about his music that spoke to me. And I think it's like we all say, right? There's always something in there. Every song has something that we can relate to and ties in, life into every experience. So it spoke to me. I was hooked. I was hooked from the very first song, and I really can't tell you which one it was. Really can't.
That was my next question. I was going to ask you what song.
Yeah, I cannot remember which song it was. But I know immediately the first album that I absolutely fell in love with was Carolina. Like totally, that album for me is there's just so much music on there that really is powerful and so beautifully written, right?
Oh, Carolina was one of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of the most, well, it is probably his most underrated album he has, but
might have been actually, you know what? I think it might have been Lightning. Come to think of it, that might have been the song I heard, and I don't know why I would have heard that on the radio.
Mine was Before She Does. That was mine.
That's a good song. That's a great song.
That was back when Ed used to play the harmonica, though. He intro the song with the harmonica. Oh, no, not the harmonica. He had the talk box. Harmonica was Two Pink Lines.
Yeah.
One thing we're missing now, these live shows. No more talk box and no more harmonica with the guy.
Yeah, we need some of that back.
Love this picture. One of your photos earlier.
I love that. That flag is an awesome flag. I got a story behind that flag.
So let's hear it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Let's talk about this.
So,
So this is Strawberry, you and Strawberry hanging out.
Strawberry, he's like a brother to me. Is probably one of the first, like, we connected online, and actually was over flags and tattoos and Eric Church, obviously. And we're sharing things back and forth. And it was actually, we finally first met at the Red Rock show.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I was walking past him. I had not met him yet. I was walking past him, and he was like, hey, I recognize that tattoo, one of the tattoos I have on my arm. And I was like, really? And he had that flag. And I said, oh, I recognize that flag. And of course, that just started us talking. And Scotia was with him, and just hit it off. And it was later on, I think it was Holding My Own tour, and he was playing in was it Georgia? Yeah, it was in Georgia, when he played in Georgia, and we went to that show, and he had messaged and said, hey, we're tailgating in the parking lot. And I'm like, right on, well, you never know, maybe we'll see you and maybe we won't. So when we were going over to the venue, we had an Uber driver, and I said, I want you to drop us off. We're going to see the flag, flying above at this tailgate. So I want you to drop us off. But before I get out, I want you to get out. And like, hey, call out to him, because he's going to be like startled. Like, what the hell is somebody calling out to me for? And,
yeah.
What's going on? And this total stranger's calling out my name. And, we all jumped out of the car. So it was just the craziest thing. But from that point forward, we made a deal, and he had to give me that flag. We had this bet going. I can't remember what the bet was, but he had to give me the flag. So he gave me the flag, and the deal was that flag had to go to every show that I went to. We had to represent. We call it the brother and sisterhood of the traveling flag. That flag has been to a lot of shows. And
is this the one that he was getting signed by everybody, or it was a different one?
That's the one.
Okay.
I was the one getting that signed. I got that signed by everybody.
Cool.
If I was home, I'd be able to show you that every show it's been to is written all the way around. And we started everybody signing it at Orange Beach. You remember that?
Yep.
In Orange Beach. And
that's when you wrote on it, and you wrote on the dude's table at the Airbnb.
Yeah, well, the Sharpie bled through. Yeah, that's right. See, there's stories behind that flag.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so that flag's been everywhere. Eric has signed it twice. He says he knows that flag and has seen it at all those shows. So it's really kind of cool that he recognizes that and sees it. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's a cool story to have, especially
it's in my living room, stuck in my boot.
It's always fun trying to get them in, huh?
Yeah.
So where was your first like real show that you had of Eric's? Like your first, you said you went down to Georgia, but like, did you ever get to see him before that at all?
Yeah. The first time I saw him live was the first time Dion and I went to Nashville. We went for the CMA Awards. That was the year he won for Chief.
Oh, nice.
Right there, right in line with the stage, and we were on the side, but yeah, so we got to see him accept that night. So that was the first time I saw him live, was at that show. And then Outsiders Tour in Ottawa was the first full-on show for me.
Okay.
And that started it from there. I haven't looked back since.
How many shows do you think you've been to?
Pardon?
How many shows do you think you've seen so far?
Sunday was 40.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's 40 in 7 years? That's pretty good.
Yeah, considering where I live.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, that's travel. That's some travel.
Yeah. crazy travel. Actually, Dion says we're pretty much all of our money in the last 7 years has gone to shows and travel to shows and.
Yeah. I've not seen him in Canada yet. That's my bucket list. Like I can see Eric in Canada. I want to get across the pond. Hopefully next year that might happen, but I don't know yet. But we'll see. But Canada is definitely on my list. I know when everybody went up to Toronto this year, I was going to try to get up there for that show, but it just didn't pan out to work out the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, I remember.
So,
I remember you
next tour.
tried.
Next
We had a
tour.
great time.
I know. It looked like it. I missed it.
Yeah. Actually, the picture you had of me with the cup, that was in Toronto.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Let's throw these up real quick. This is your wall at home, right? Your mini walls?
My mini wall. That's my living room.
Nice.
Yep.
So what's your most prized possession you have that was, let's say, that was kind of released on Eric's side? Like kind of like one of your most collectibles you've gotten that was sold by Chief Merch, we'll say. I know we'll get to some other ones that are really cool later, but
my most actually it's not that we could sell it, but it was the Mr. Misunderstood white for the premium members. I had a cool story. Real cool story about that one.
Well, let's hear it. Come on. You can't say I had a cool story, not share it. That's why we want to hear these stories.
I know. It's just weird because there's not a lot of people I share these stories with, so it's kind of neat. So we went to, that was the next time, not the next time, but one of the times we went to Nashville for the CMA Awards again. And so I had ordered a pair of these boots and I had to pick them up in Nashville. And because they couldn't ship them across the border. So made arrangements. They're so fabulous anyway, at HQ, particularly back then. And so I went to pick up my boots, and it was the morning of the release of Mr. Misunderstood, so none of us knew about it.
Yeah.
And he was doing the CMA Awards that night, and nobody knew that he was going to be announcing and releasing this secret album. And so I was there, and they're like, "So have you been on social media or on the choir feed or anything at all today?" And I was like, "No, I've not been on anything. We literally got off the plane and drove here because I wanted to pick up my boots." And I just wanted my boots. And they were like, "Oh, well, here you go." And they slid a CD across the desk to me. And I was like, "Okay, why are you giving me a CD? Like, I have all the CDs. I don't need another CD." And then register, and I'm like, "Holy shit, is this a new CD?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, what's up with this?" Like, "Well, we're gonna tell you this, but you can't say anything because this is gonna be announced tonight at the CMA Awards. But this is the new album that's being released. And on top of all of that, we've dropped these white vinyl, and because we knew you were coming, we didn't send yours to Newfoundland, so here's yours."
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I knew about this album before anybody had theirs in their mailbox. It was insane, and I had to keep this secret all day. I was listening to the album all day. I went and bought a CD player for the rental car so I could listen to it.
That was Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Or the week it was released?
Yep.
Okay. I got mine Monday, probably Monday around 11 o'clock. I went and I had a package at my front door. I'm like, "What is this?" It was just like a vinyl. I'm like, "I haven't ordered any vinyl lately." And I opened it up. I'm like, "Oh, what is going on?" And I saw some of the songs on the back. I'm like, Church just dropped a new album. And that was 2 days before, and I didn't know anything about it. And I just kind of shut up about it. But then I saw a couple other people start messaging, "Hey, did you get something? Hey, did you get?" And then we started talking, and everybody started getting them by Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I mean, I love that album too. That album is really kind of special to me because of that whole piece, for somebody to think through and or to say, "We're going to keep this here for you so you have it now. We're going to tell you about this so you know now." And
yeah,
so really, really exciting. That one's got a lot of memories tied up in it.
Frazee wants to know how many shows has Dion passed out at.
Let's see. If I've been to 40, he's probably been to 35, and probably. Well, actually, I don't think he's ever passed out at a show. He usually leaves the pit in particular and goes and starts making friends with people in the venue. He did that. He did that at the Bridgestone the last night at the Bridgestone.
Sounds like what I do at times sometimes.
Yeah. I went to find him. He left the pit, and I went to find him at the end of the show. And I came like kind of. We always have a meeting point when if you get separated, we meet here no matter what.
Yeah,
So
my
I
wife.
went to our meeting point, and the security guy goes, "Are you Joelle?" And I went, "Yes." I was thinking something was wrong, and he said, "I said why?" And he said, "Well, your husband Dion, what a nice guy. Like, we really want to give him a love here." And I'm like, "Why? Where is he?" "Oh, he's been helping us clean up, picking up trash. I believe he's in the bathroom cleaning up in there." And he was like seriously cleaning up the Bridgestone Arena.
Oh
Like,
my
what the hell?
god.
So
This is probably
speaking,
after what, a half dozen drinks or so.
oh yeah, I would say a lot more than that, but yep,
That is funny.
yeah.
That is a good story.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. He's usually at the beer tent or the if it's an outdoor venue. I've found him and Wheeler a few times having beers together. That's cool.
It's funny. I'm getting these comments on my phone about 2 minutes before I get them on my screen. So sorry if they're a little delayed on my screen. I don't know why they're so delayed. Hopefully the site finally figures out all their stuff.
What kind of comments are you getting? I can't see any of them.
Well, Derek's or Frazie's saying, sorry, Dion, the story just had to be, or it was a funny story. And then, well, like the ones I've been asking, I've been throwing up on the screen. Are you seeing the pictures at all that I'm showing?
I see the pictures. Yep.
Okay. You just can't see the comments when I show them on the screen?
Every now and again when I see him, but I don't see much. Hey,
Okay.
Laurie. I seen that one. Hey, Laurie.
All right, cool. So let's see. Yeah, that was a funny one. So tell me, we're going over your White Album. How your poster collection? What's probably your best poster or your favorite poster?
My favorite poster is and I didn't send you a picture of it. It's probably the Ascend poster is my favorite, and it's on a different wall. Like when you look from my living room, looking out, it's right there. So it's actually still kind of a part of the living room. That and Red Rocks.
All right. Well, actually, let's go ahead and move in to Red Rocks because I think you're one of my first guests that I've had that actually was at the Red Rocks. I don't know if we've touched on Red Rocks much. And that's probably one of the shows that, out of all the shows that Eric's played, that I'm probably the most jealous of people that's gotten to see because I loved to have been at Red Rocks. I just heard really cool things about that show. But what was probably your highlight?
My highlight of that show. Oh my gosh.
From the Red Rock show.
Well, honestly, it was the first Mistress medley, which was awesome, right? Like that, just to be there for that, first was, just epic, particularly acoustic, right? That venue is to die for. There is no venue like it that I've ever been to. So that piece was just remarkable. That whole trip itself was the beginning. I've always said it's the beginning of the best relationships I have, or that Dion and I have, the family, because that's what we call everybody, the family that we have made. Chris is in that picture, CJ's in there. Like seriously, that weekend started so many lifelong friendships that's probably the biggest takeaway from the most.
Yeah, when CJ started growing the beard.
yeah, absolutely. And there's just so much that happened that weekend. I think it was like the venue is magical. Chris can even tell you, like, there was this crazy lightning storm going on in the background that first night. It was just wild to see, from the venue and the music and just that whole 2 nights of acoustic. It was absolutely magical. And it just started so many amazing things that have just become more than you ever could imagine, and ever you could. People probably would pray for some of the friendships and the relationships that we've been so blessed to have. And it started there. Definitely.
Oh, for sure. You could tell definitely. It's like I said, I was always really jealous I missed that one. Because it always looked good. I always thought that one would probably have been like a really cool DVD too. If he would have ever done a live DVD, I thought Red Rocks would have been awesome.
And he should, actually. And Taylor's right. It was spiritual. It was absolutely a spiritual experience. 100%. And it's crazy. now, the more people we know, like how many people go, I was there and I was there and I was there, and somebody has a picture and you go like, I was like beside you or 2 rows in front of you or behind you or whatever. Like it's insane how many people were there that we never knew each other or barely. You just kind of knew of each other maybe, right? But not what it's become, which is just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, the acoustics there, I bet, was just phenomenal. That would have been cool.
Nothing like it. Like there's nothing. When I listen to that CD or the vinyl, right, from Red Rocks, it just, when I listen to that, I'm completely transported back to those 2 nights. Like I can't listen to it when I'm driving because I'm totally like in a zone. You know what I mean? Like it has to be, I need to be home. It's one I go to a lot when I'm painting, right? It's that it just puts you where you really need to be. Or when I really miss everybody, that's the album I'll put on because it puts me
sure.
there.
And it takes you right back. I mean, that's that's what he talks about. It takes you right back and brings you back down. And sorry, I'm pulling a picture. So yeah, I mean, that's what's that. I listen to that album and I think about, I can picture myself there and just what it would have felt like. It wasn't for like the middle of the week. It was like a Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I don't remember. It wouldn't have mattered. It just didn't matter. I want him to do it again. I want him to do it again next year.
Oh, I won't miss it again. I will not miss that again. So I pulled some pictures earlier when I was looking. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, these are good ones. And I want you have played a big part with the Sunny Melton Foundation. And I want you to talk about kind of these random acts of kindness cards. I've seen them being posted lately. And I want you to just kind of talk about what it is and what you're doing out there.
Well, with that in particular, with the random acts of kindness cards, I'd seen Susan had posted about the random act of kindness, and this way to honor Sunny's memory, and I know that they are doing it for to honor all of the 58, and
Did you see it's 59 now?
no.
I don't know. Someone posted the other day in our guys chat with Frazee, somebody that was they were shot and they just passed away a couple days ago.
Oh my God.
It says now 59.
No, I didn't know that. That makes me sad. So the Living the Dream Foundation is very, very special to me and very, very important to me. I'm very passionate about supporting it, as a lot of you know. But when I saw the random act of kindness cards, I messaged Susan immediately and said, I need you to send me some of these. I need to be a part of this. I'm far away in Canada, but I want to share this. There's a story that the world needs to hear, not just, one place or, in the US, like the world needs to know what happens, and, so yeah, I got them. She sent me 10, she sent me 20 more. I keep handing them out. I've done all kinds of different things with them. I've, just bought gift cards like for Tim Hortons. That's, our coffee shop, and Subway, and handed them out. I've paid for gas. I just, here you go. And like, just total, no, like nobody's. I've done something. The picture you have there actually is with my niece. I took her and her boyfriend for supper. This is, just do something, and you don't have to buy anything, and I've told people that, like, you don't have to pay for something, just do something nice for somebody, and pay it forward and pay attention, right? Because you don't know. You just don't know. And
that's the one thing Heather asked. Heather asked that she wanted Sonny's name to be kept alive. She wanted Sonny's name to be known. And now you're up in Newfoundland, Canada, and handing out these cards, and these people don't know who they are, but maybe they go home and look who Sonny is, and maybe they see the foundation and they want to give back to it or do something really nice for the foundation or just whatnot. But now you're reaching out all the way to Canada and letting his name still be heard and known.
Yep. And it's every person that I have done something for or handed a card to, always asks, why are you doing this? Well, I'd like you to take a look at this card. A friend of mine, this was her husband. I tell, the story, and I just said it's just very important that not only do we keep a memory alive, but we remember all of them, and we remember anybody and anywhere in this world who has been, a victim or, a survivor. Like we have to remember these things so that it's not, for no reason. Does that make sense?
No, yeah. Well, it makes a lot of sense. I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing what you're doing and everybody else is doing with these cards, and I just love it. If you guys are watching, you guys want to reach out, and I'm sure they'll get them to you. Heather, Susan, one will get you some of these cards, and it's really cool just kind of keeping the memory going.
Yep.
But leading into that, you do a lot with the foundation for a lot of the reunions and a lot of your artwork. So a lot of people know Joelle as the painter. And I wanted to bring up your designs that you created for one of our last foundation.
Yeah.
And this was this guitar that you painted. It was designed from the Mr. Misunderstood album, like the chalkboard, but then you kind of went a little further back to Sinners, and go ahead and explain it a little bit more.
So the idea actually came, I have really, 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 really like desperately wanted to do a tour poster. So it was, I came up with this idea, myself and Kate. Some of you know Kate Spalding. She lives in Maine. We're really close friends, and she was visiting me actually in Newfoundland, and we had a girls' afternoon of Jack Daniels and Eric Church on my back patio. And this idea sort of came to life one summer afternoon. We had all the vinyl out there, and I said, I have this idea, and it came from that, from all of the albums. So, using the Chief logo, and then literally wanted to use pieces of each album. So I doodled it out, and we were like talking about what pieces to put in there. And it was and I thought this would be a really cool tour poster. It didn't come to be a tour poster. So it became, this year's fundraiser poster. And I knew actually Chris and Derek were big part of me helping me put it together, and some of the ideas that I had, and gave me lots of great feedback, and kind of went through the journey with me, and sort of, seeing it come together, which was really cool to share that with them. But I knew as well that anybody who was a collector of the vinyl or any of the music, if I put it together, it explains itself. You'd know that the top of the hat is, it's the inset of Sinners, right?
Yep.
And the bib is from Caught in the Act, and it just all. But I picked different. I didn't want obvious parts of the album, or any of the additional covers. But I thought it would be a really cool way to really create this compilation of everything that he is, like Eric is, and his music is to this day. And then the guitar piece came from Jason. Him and I, when he did the guitar for the first fundraiser in Texas. We actually talked, and I said, this would be cool. We should do something together. You build guitars and I paint. Now, how sick would that be?
Yeah.
So the idea started in Texas, and then I said to him and reached out when we were talking about it further. So I think the poster would be really cool, recreated on the guitar. And so we did that guitar for the fundraiser, and we did a second guitar as well, and it's got a different body shape, and he's done that one. And honestly, he's been trying to get a meet and greet for Sacramento to give Eric the guitar that we did for him.
Nice.
But it hasn't come to be yet, and it's the show's on Friday, and it's a different design, and because of the different design of the body, it's got a different layout, using the same thing, but he deserves to be given to that personally, I have to say. Right?
I agree, definitely. So what got you involved in painting? What started it for you? What started your craze or your love of it?
Oh wow. So that's a super personal story. You're going right deep, aren't you? I had always painted. I didn't go to school for anything. I always had painted. My mom had always painted. So I grew up, kind of doing this stuff. And I used to work in theater. I used to design and build and paint sets a long, long time ago. And my mom died. It was 24 years on the 12th of November, actually. And when she died, I stopped painting. My heart wasn't there. And then life just sort of got in the way, and I got away from all of those kind of things. And it was not something that I don't know, it was a piece of me was missing. And it was kind of crazy because, not crazy, but Eric's music is what led me back to it. And again, it's like I say, like it plays a part in your life. And for some reason, his music speaks to me, and his music really healed something that had been missing, was broken in me. It was missing, it was broken. And I just, one day I travel a lot for work. So I was on the road. I picked up Sketchpad and I picked up some pencils, and I, started doing this. And I took actually the CD for Carolina, and there was a picture. Like, this would be kind of cool to sketch and paint. And we were going to see Eric at the Ascend opening, and I said, I'm gonna paint this picture on a big old canvas the size of a flag so I can hold it up at the show, right? Just like, do this. And it was the first time I'd picked up a brush in 20 some odd years. And it started at that point. And from that piece, I had Donnie and Amanda and another friend, Cade, had I want you to do something for me. I would like you to paint something of Eric. And I think I sent you the picture of the one. Chris Johnson has a copy of this. There's 10 copies of this out in the world that I gave away, and that's all there is. Eric has the original, but it's the one of the 3 pictures on one painting. I think you have that. I think I sent it to you, the picture. And that was the one that really started me back into doing it once I was working on that. And I was really inspired by that. I was into the music, and I kind of sort of felt something just building. And when I started, I can't stop now. I'm compelled. I've got to paint now. It's a part of who I am. I can't give it up. But it's definitely all about what that music did for me, how it healed me. And that's all I listen to when I paint is Eric. That's it. I don't listen to anything else at all. And it doesn't matter what I'm painting. I've painted more than just pictures of him, but that's what I listen to.
See, that's what we're talking about. All right.
Yeah.
I'm slowly uploading these. I'm trying to upload all these different paintings I pulled from you. Yeah. So I'm trying to get them all.
He has that one. That's the first one. He has 5 of mine, actually.
Church does?
That's the first one. The blue is a still shot from the Lightning video.
Okay.
And then the bottom, the one that's like in black and white, that's from Ascend. And then the top one is from Lexington, Kentucky show. I took those 2 pictures. The Lexington, Kentucky show. That was Dion's first show, actually, when he was singing "Drink in My Hand."
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's a cool painting. I really do like this one.
CJ's got that one.
He probably has the canvas, the 1 of 3, right?
Yeah, he does have.
Yeah. We're gonna pull all these up for a second. I pulled a bunch of your different paintings. I'm trying to rearrange my folder real quick, and we're gonna share a couple of these real quick. You have some of these are just phenomenal. Like the one I was showing earlier was a Christmas card, right? You painted it was a Christmas tree and some snow.
Yes.
And
yeah, that was my first Christmas card that I did. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I got invited to a paint night with some friends, and and we had this picture to do, and that was the one, and I did it. I never got invited back after. I don't know why.
No one invited you back, huh?
No.
This is another one here that I absolutely love.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I love that one. I have the original. I kept the original.
So this is what inspired the guitar too, correct? Did I
All the
lose you?
original.
Oh, there you are. I'm like, did I lose you? Is this what
It's really
inspired
cool.
the
It's
guitar?
very
Or
textured.
did I
It
lose
was a lot
myself?
of fun. The Outsiders part of that album was really hard. All those hands. Oh God.
Hey, can you hear me? Hello?
It does look pretty cool.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I don't know what happened there. So, no, this is the painting here that inspired the guitar, correct?
Yes.
The
Yep.
one that we were doing earlier.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and see. See if I can find another one. I got another one pulled up. I won't wait. I want to save that one. There's my two favorites. We'll save for last.
Okay. I don't know what they are, so that's going to be kind of cool.
I know. So let me go. Well, I don't know. My three favorites. There's another one I love that you did. And I gotta ask you, has she ever seen this one?
Yes. She has that. Yes.
Oh, really? This exact one, or
Yeah.
the
She has
original,
the
right?
Yep, because I was asked to paint that as a gift for her, and it was given to her, and that's from her Opry debut. Yep,
Nice. And this
yep.
one too.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
You gotta tell
That
the
is one
story.
of my favorites. Yep.
You gotta tell the story behind that one real quick.
So that that's Heather Melton's
Mm.
daughter, and from one of the I can't remember which show, but they were the side of the stage, and during these boots, Eric had called, Serena over to sign her boot, and I remember Heather telling me that, she, of course, she took her boot off. She had no socks on, and Eric said, like, "How cool is that, right? No socks in these boots," and that's what I titled the painting. But when I saw that's the name, that's the title of the painting, "No Socks in These Boots," and when I saw her photo, I was like, I have got to paint this, and I wanted to paint it for her. She knew nothing about it. It was a complete surprise. Again, there's only a couple people who knew about it as I was working on it.
Mhm.
Because I just felt like for everything that she'd been through and the family had been through over the last couple of years, they needed something that was like a good, incredible, awesome moment,
Mhm.
right? Captured. And I just loved everything about the photo, the light, the interaction. Like Serena just is so super cool. So yeah, I did that one, and I gave it to Heather as a gift surprise, actually, in Greenville at the Greenville show. And I love it. And
I
I lit a
remember after you
coffee.
gave it to her, I saw some of her posted when she
Yeah.
posted about it and everything. That was just amazing. It's amazing work.
Yeah, and I had a copy of it done off on a print for her. So Serena has a copy herself as well. So I know, and I have seen it in at Heather's, and she got it framed beautifully. It just looks amazing in the house. Amazing. I love that one. It's one of my faves.
Probably won't mind, but I don't know. You got so many good ones here. Let's go ahead and you got to tell the story on this one. All right, because I got a bunch of pictures. Now, I got a couple more we're gonna throw up.
Okay.
This one here. This is another one of my favorites. I
Oh,
loved.
did you get to see that one in Orange Beach? Did you see it when it was?
I don't think so. I don't think
Uh,
I did.
I can't remember who came and seen it. Yeah, I don't remember who was there. Okay, so this one it's 9 panels. Each panel is 10 inches by 10 inches. I had this idea sort of planned in my head for a long time, and
Mhm.
I take a lot of photos at the shows. I have a really good camera, so I'll use my camera and not always my phone. But I had this idea of taking these, you know, and the band and capturing
Mhm.
those moments, like that whole caught in the act. And there's only two pictures that are two in the top one of Eric with the flag.
Mhm.
That one is from the Birmingham, Alabama show, and took that photo, and he was wearing that's my scarf he's wearing in that picture, and so I made that the top one, and the one of Joanna, because I could not find a picture of Joe anywhere at that time when I painted it. There wasn't like all the pictures of her now, which there's some crazy pictures, but I found that one online. The rest are all from photos I took at shows. So I
nice.
worked it all out together, and I was trying to figure out the background, and it was really weird because, like, weird for me. I was like, okay, I need to think of what I want to do in the background, and I'm like, all these things, like I'm catching everybody. All these things are in the moment during a show, caught in the act, and I went, oh my god, I just need to use the Caught in the Act album cover. Like, what the hell, right? As that centerpiece that ties the two, like all the panels together. So, I worked on it. That one, it took me 240 hours to paint.
Jeez.
Yeah, in total. It was like over 9 months that I worked on that. I didn't paint it for any other reason than I had the idea and I had to paint it.
Mm-hmm.
I originally thought that one day maybe I would sell copies of it. And I had been sharing it as I was doing it, like in progress pictures with Matt. And I don't know how it came about coming up to Orange Beach, but anyway, they said, you got this done. We want to see this painting. And, I said, well, then I want to give it to Eric. And, it sort of all came to be. And in that meet and greet, it was insane. Because I had met him before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had the painting there, and I remember coming around the screen for the picture, and he's like, Joelle, and I'm like, Eric. It was like weird. It was like so surreal. And he's like, and I had it in a bag, all these panels in one bag, because they got permission for me to bring it into the venue.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek will remember this because he was like helping, protect it when we were in the pit waiting for the meet and greet. And he's like, I know you've got something in there. And I'm like, yeah, I have something here for you. And he's, but I must look like I was disappointed or something. He's like, no, I don't know what it is. I just know it's a painting. And I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know if somebody'd shown him or what. And he's like, yeah, so I would really like to see this, but I'd like to spend some time with you. Would you mind waiting while I do the rest of these like pictures? And I'm like, you want me to wait? Sure, I'll wait. Yeah.
Right?
I got nowhere else to be. Like, only going out there and waiting for you. And the room cleared out, and it was just me and him and the photographer and Marshall, and I was with them. We had about, I don't know, 40 minutes or so together, talking about the painting and hanging out and kind of going through each one. And I didn't know it at the time that the photographer took pictures of the entire meet and greet, the entire whole interaction, which was, I didn't find that out until 3 days later when they sent me the photos.
That's cool.
So he has that one as well. And it was funny thing is, when I finished painting that, 2 of the panels I didn't have fully completed. So I have all of them scanned, but 2, because I get everything scanned at the gallery. So I actually, to have my own copy, I have to repaint 2 of the panels that I haven't had done yet.
That is funny.
Yeah.
That's an awesome painting. So you said you wanted to sell copies of this. Now, I got a question. How, with the whole crazy world of copyright and everything else, how are you able to sell images like this? I mean, is there a way, or is it because it's your artwork, or how does that come about?
So this one might be a problem because it has the album cover on it.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that I've gotten permission, like for the fundraiser, I've gotten permission. The Opry one, I had to get permission. Even the one for this year, because it's, it's pieces of the album, and that it was absolute permission. But until the most recent one, I hadn't sold any anyway, other than the fundraiser.
And I know fan photos are different. I know fan photos are something that's completely different. It doesn't fall under some kind of copyright rule, or I mean, I know it does, but it's so much red tape when it comes down to it. But it's awesome kind of work. It is. It's your art, and I mean, if you're making art, you should get paid for it. So no matter what, I would believe that's how. I mean, that's anybody that's an artist. So we're gonna go in. Go ahead.
I can tell you though, like, I would never exploit it.
Yeah, no.
right? And I have way too much respect. And if I wanted to do something different, or that I felt like needed that, I would seek the permission before I would ever do it.
Exactly. I mean, you got to do it. You're going to do it fair game.
And
You have to.
I never paint from anybody's photos without their permission. Like
Yep.
Taylor can give the hell yeah on that one, because I won't do it without asking.
Well, yeah, we're gonna move into hers for real quick. We're gonna go over my top 3 favorites. So this is definitely in my top 3 faves that you have done, and talk about where this or why this came about. This one,
Oh God.
if you want to sum it up, you can.
Heavy heart stuff. No, I mean, obviously after Vegas, that rocked everybody's world in a major way, and Taylor took that photo, and we had already planned. You remember in Orange Beach, we had already planned to have a reunion, and we'd all bought tickets for Texas when he rescheduled those, and then the reunion became a fundraiser, and I reached out to you and Scott organized that first one. You were heavily involved, and I said, like, I have an
Yeah,
idea.
Staples though, man. Staples did a lot of work for that. He busted his
boatloads.
butt for Texas.
Yep.
That he worked hard, and I applaud him every day for that.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he saw his hair left.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so I reached out and said, I have an idea. Since we're doing a fundraiser, I'd like to do a piece, and this is what I want to do. And when it's done, like, if you guys think it's good enough to put out there to attach to the fundraiser, then let's do it. So Taylor was all in to say yes, so I could paint it. And honestly, this was the very first piece that I ever went public with. I was terrified to do this piece, or to put it out there into the world, and share it, because I was afraid nobody would like it. Right? I was afraid like this would be an epic bomb, and I didn't want that to happen, because I was doing it for something that meant a lot to me, something that I thought was very important. I had like, some people like reached out to me. Everybody, there's never been a negative comment, but there are people said, like, I love this piece, but I can't buy it because it's too painful. And the thing that inspired me about it is particularly with the quote, right? The only way I've ever fixed anything that's been broken in me is with music. And that, when he said that, and that picture to me felt like this is the moment in time when the healing starts, right? This is when it happens. And that's what it meant to me, and why I felt like it was the right piece. And then to know that no matter what, we have to go on and we have to stay strong. He did it, got up on stage and broke our hearts and healed our hearts all at the same time. Heather and Susan get out there and keep and so raw, and days after, to talk about the experience. I thought, how can I be afraid to share something, right? And if people don't like it, well, that's too bad. If they love it, that's fantastic. But I'm going to do whatever I can to support whatever we can do, for this foundation, for any fundraiser, for anything that's supporting, anything like this, right? So it was terrifying, but the most rewarding experience ever.
It was an amazing photo. It's funny when you walk down my stairs into my basement. So my basement, I got, of course, behind me all my Eric Church memorabilia. I got like a bunch of Cubs stuff, a bunch of Bears stuff. I'm a big Bears fan too. So when I'm walking down my stairs, I got a picture of Walter Payton, and then right underneath Walter Payton is this painting right underneath of it. And it's my goat wall. So you got Walter Payton and you got Eric. So you got these two side by side. They're both canvas paintings. But so that's always my two favorite things. And it's always when I come downstairs, the first few things I always see is Church and Payton. So I just love it. But it's an amazing photo, or amazing artist, or painting and everything. I did detail on it. It's probably one of your best by far.
Thank you.
Until we get to the next one.
Until we get to the next one. Okay.
Let's get to the next one, which is also your most recent. So tell me what drove you to this one.
Oh, come on. That photo is epic. Like, the minute I saw it, actually, if you look on Taylor's feed when she posted that picture, my comment was, I have to paint this. Like, I have to paint this. She captured the perfect moment. And I immediately messaged her and said, can I? And she said, absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's actually probably one of the coolest ones. I did a lot of different stuff on that one because I was trying to figure out how to get that Jack and Coke and that metallic, vibrant, like crazy.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I actually on the original used gold leaf, like actual gold leaf. And that's
Really?
how I did it. And it's very textured, the original. So it's kind of built up, and I used a lot of metallic in that one to get it because I wanted it to, when the light hits it, it just reflects. And the
Mhm.
copies, the gallery did a wicked job on the copies. They just turned out crazy, and I had a great great response and great comments on people because the people have been starting to receive the ones that they got,
Yeah.
and like they're like, "Wow, this is pretty sick." I can't see what
It
did
was,
Taylor?
Taylor said it was about the Opry painting, though. She said, you can feel his emotion in that painting. It's the only Eric poster painting on my wall, and it takes me back to that moment every time I see it. And I couldn't be more thankful to you for bringing it to life,
Oh,
which is amazing. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, when she nailed it, you did. You brought it to life. But I mean, this is like this painting too. I mean, talking about paintings that you brought to life. I mean, I yet to buy one from you. I am definitely going to get one from you because I love this thing so much. I'm just showing the progress pictures. We're gonna get to the side by side here on the next one. So these are the progress. But I like how you post all your progress too. I like how you kind of see where it starts from, and we're gonna kind of talk about that on the next painting and
okay.
about your whole progress and like kind of what brings it to deciding and going from different areas. So there's your side by side of your final product. That is
That looks pretty cool.
awesome. That is badass. So you haven't got one to Eric yet, have you?
No, I tried to arrange it so that Taylor and I could do that in Atlanta, but it just didn't come to be. So
Yeah.
I've got to ship it. I actually kept the original on that one because I wasn't gonna, but I was like, no, I've got to because I'm working on sort of a mate to that one. There's only a couple
Nice.
people who know who it is. I don't really want to tell anybody about it yet, but it's going to be really cool. It's in progress. So when I've got it done, it's not Eric's though, but
Nice.
it is a mate to that painting.
Oh, this would be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool side by side. So now, could people commission you for work if they wanted to? Like, if someone had a really cool photo or something, like, hey, can we commission this from you?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
And I have done, actually, I just finished a piece for a fellow choir member, not an Eric Church picture, because I do paint more than Eric. But I have done a bunch of stuff over the past couple of months. I do have a couple more that I'm working on for a couple other people from the choir. One of them is an Eric Church related picture, so it is cool. Yeah, and I'll look at anything. Right? It's just as long as nobody's in a big rush because I do have a full-time job, unfortunately.
I hear you. This is amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about probably my favorite painting. If you're all right, we're probably definitely gonna run over tonight for a little bit.
That's
I know
fine.
you're in a hotel room, so if you guys don't mind, we might run over 10 or 15 minutes like normal, how we have been lately. I should just start early every week.
There you go.
All right, let's go ahead. Oh, move all these in here. This is what you get when I'm trying to do like 3 things at once. I get the talk and get sidetracked and forget to upload the next frame of photos.
That's
So
okay.
while I'm uploading, I want to talk about. So you contacted me, I don't know
Yeah.
how long ago, about wanting to do a painting, and so this is kind of where your memory, or your not your memory, but your creativeness starts. Is you'll kind of have an idea, then you'll reach out to someone and say, "Hey, this is my idea.
Yep.
I want to do something. What do you have, or what can you do to help?" So you reached out to me and asked me for some pictures, and it was about a little over a year ago, shortly after Brandon died,
Yep.
Eric's brother, and I had some photos that they're not mine. I didn't take them, but someone gave them to me long time ago. So when Eric and Brandon first came to Nashville, there was a bar in town that they kind of flocked to and they kind of became home. It was in Printer's Alley. It was called Fiddle and Steel. A lot of people know of it. It's no longer there, unfortunately. It was probably one of my favorite places in the world to go to. And there was a couple nights I spent there and hung out with Brandon in church and everything else. But these photos were from before Eric really made it big and before the whole Sinners area. But Brandon was also a singer and a songwriter. So he actually co-wrote Sinners. I think there was a couple other ones that Brandon wrote as well. But you reached out and you said you wanted to do something as a painting for Eric and about with Brandon. And when I thought about it, I just thought about these photos. I mean, these photos here were kind of when they both first came to town. Brandon was one of Eric's first merch guys that he ever had out on the road with him. And that's kind of when I first met Brandon, got to know the guy. So when you reached out to me, you wanted to do a painting about it. I just thought back of these photos from Fiddle. I was like, man, these photos that really have never surfaced. No one's ever really seen them. And I mean, they're private when they were given to me and everything else. So I really had to check with the lady and make sure everything was cool. And I know the person that owned these photos, she actually has a copy of the painting that you made out of them.
Yep, she does. I forgot to send you that photo. I have a photo with it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I know we had it was Tony that we had arranged for it to give to Allison for us from Fiddle and Steel. So when you made this, we asked for a couple copies. I know I got a copy. Eric got a copy. His parents got a copy. You got a copy, and Allison did as well. But what I really liked about the painting you did on this one, let's go ahead and get a couple of the progress photos up, is you took the two photos that I was just showing and you combined them into one. So there's one of the progress ones and there's one of the final ones. I thought I had another one. So yeah, that was just amazing what you did. There we go. Like I'm missing one picture, but I got it.
You got it.
It's amazing what you did, and I know you're very lucky, and you were able to give it to Eric on his birthday. And you got to talk about how that meeting went when you handed it to him. I want to hear that story.
this one, like, I mean, seriously, I keep saying, oh, this one's so emotional, or this one was super emotional for me. And actually, I have to give credit to Dion for the idea, because Dion is the one who came up with the idea. Who said, for all the paintings you've done and given to Eric that he has, you should do something with him and his brother. And I'm like, that's a great idea, but I have no idea where I would get any pictures. And then I was like, yes, I do. And I messaged you right away. I'm like, here's my idea. This is what I want to do. I don't know if I can make it happen, but I know I have to paint this. And, over the course of a couple of months, worked on it. As you know, I kept you in the loop on all of it. Mm-hmm. And the in progress shots and everything. And I have to say, I was like, I desperately wanted to give it to him on his birthday. You and I were both trying to work on making that happen. And honestly, it was kind of fluky at the same time, because we were on our back-to-back weekend trip that we took this year on the Double Down tour. Did those 3 weekends in a row. Pittsburgh was the last one, and every venue, every weekend, like I was like, I gotta try and get this to him. Can you guys help me get this to him? Like, I'm begging, I'm pleading, and then no meet and greet, and then it was crazy because Dion ended up with one, and he never checks his email, and it was in Pittsburgh. And then it was begging and pleading, can I bring this in with me? Can you make sure I can make this happen? It's his birthday. You remember I let you know all that. You and I were back and forth on this. And about trying, because we were trying, you and I, to be able to give it to him together. And so it just sort of, it happened, and it happened perfectly, I guess. I say my prayers every night, so I think someone's listening, and someone was listening that night for sure. The night before.
Oh yeah, it lined perfect. I mean, it was like it was meant to happen. It was meant
to happen. Yeah.
And like you messaged me, you're like, "Hey, Dion's never met him." I'm like, no, you guys go. It's totally cool, and it was really cool because like you always say like karma and good karma will happen, this and that. And when you messaged me and said that, it would have been really cool for you and I to hand it to him. Yes, it would have been. But like Dion never met him and everything else. But then when you went out and backstage and you had the meet and greet, you told him the story and where the pictures came from.
Yep.
I had the cool experience on the other end, because it was during Drink in My Hand, and it was right after, during the first set, right after the meet and greet, Eric came out. It was probably like third or fourth song in, and my dad and I was there. And we had the front row on the side of the chief care seats, and Eric walked down the runway, and it was kind of funny because he spotted me sitting there, and he kind of double take back and turned around and tapped his heart and pointed right at me, and I knew right then and there what that was from.
Yep.
And I knew that was from him saying thanks for the photos and for providing all this. So it was really cool to have all that together and to be able to be a part of this kind of painting.
Yeah.
So this is one I still got to frame. It's still sitting in a tube, but it has to be framed soon.
Well, it was nice because what you know as well, like, so I had the original framed. I had a nameplate. That one is titled Along the Way.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a copy done and framed to match and plated to match for his folks, and gave that one to him that night as well. And I know they were in the building. They were at that show that night. So I don't know what the reactions were like after. I have not heard. But and this was probably the shortest meet and greet I've ever had with him, which I had hoped might be a little bit longer, but he was quite emotional. Dion said it was standing on the opposite side and behind the glasses. The other couple of times I met him, and when I at Orange Beach, like before, without the pictures, the glasses came off, right? It was just me and Eric. It wasn't me and Eric.
No, I knew these pictures were personal for him. This was something personal for him. And I knew this was going to be, I knew when he received it, it was definitely going to be a very emotional night for him, because and it was kind of cool for him to get it as a birthday present on his birthday.
Yep.
And because this was back in the happy times. It's just, it captures so much. And like Taylor was saying with the other photo, and how you just bring it to life, and you brought two photos and you brought it to life of them and recreated them on stage together at the Fiddle. And now every time that Eric will walk past us, wherever he might have hung in his house or anywhere else, and see it, he's gonna remember back to 2004 or whatever, when he came to Nashville, and there was him and Brandon sitting on bar stools playing for tips in an alley.
And it was actually that when I painted that one, all I listened to was Sinners. I didn't listen to any other album when I painted that.
Yeah.
And I messaged you the night I finished it with pictures, and I said, like, I cried. I cried when I finished that one. It was.
I'd love to know what song they were singing.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
I'd love to know too. I don't know. To me, it's all
Sinners.
of them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I see them singing Sinners together. Depending on when this photo was, it might have been Sinners.
It feels like it. To me, it will always be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but it just
feels like them singing Sinners with Brandon with the beer in the hand, and man.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, it was good.
I'll share a cool story real quick for everybody. So, Fiddle and Steel, I used to always go there all the time back when this was back after Brandon left playing merch, but Brandon was bouncing back between North Carolina and Nashville for a while. And I was sitting at the bar at Fiddle, and I was talking with Allison. I was like, so Brandon still comes in every time now and then, right? I'm like, I haven't seen him in a while. I said, since he moved back home. And she's like, yeah, he'll bounce in. He'll come in and have a drink real quick or whatever and say hi. And I'm like, well, let me buy him his next one. And I did. I bought a beer, and I wrote a note on a Post-it, and we put it behind the bar. And shortly after Brandon, probably a day or two after Brandon died, Allison's like, I still have your note, right? Yeah, you left Brandon. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, remember you bought him that beer? And she goes, we wrote that note on that Post-it, and we put it on the mirror behind the bar. And I was like, yeah. She goes, I still have it. That's one of the things I saved from Fiddle. I was like, that's cool. Just to have. She goes, he never came in for it because he's like, he never made it back before they tore the bar down. So, but that was one of my favorite places, and just one of my, I don't know, there's so many memories in that alley. Always will be. Just don't hit up the hot dog carts. Ask Frazee about that. So
Allison sent me a beautiful thank you note, actually.
Oh, nice. So what did she say? What did she say about it?
Oh my gosh. Well,
Just
she
she's
loved
amazed
it.
by it.
It's too bad I'm not home because I have that stuff. It's all like I am right here.
Yeah.
I could just like, whoop, okay, this is what it said. I could show it to you. But it was just such a beautiful note of thank you. I wasn't expecting it at all. Tony had sent me the pictures
Yeah.
when he gave it to her. She was disappointed that she wasn't there that night in Nashville.
Yeah.
To give it to her, and that Tony had. She just thought it was beautiful, loved it, was going to get it a special place, get it framed and have it hung. So it was really nice. Really,
Yeah,
really.
those were her pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were her pictures, and everybody after her fiddle closed and they tore it down, everybody was always trying to get her to open up another bar, and it never happened. I know a lot of the fiddle family went to, I think, Nashville Palace, and they hang out there a lot. But that's how I met like Rick Tiger. He used to sell hot dogs out of the doghouse at Fiddle, and I mean a lot of my good buddies. I mean, I met right from Fiddle and Steel, so it was more than the House of Rascal Flatts and Eric Church. So we're going to talk about this real quick. I know we're going to be running a little over, but I got some more photos. But you and I are in the same kind of club together. It's not like Fight Club. I think we could kind of talk about it a little bit. We are both Tennessee Squires, and this photo is taken from the Squire House. And you left that wristband, correct?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So talk about what the Squire House is and what being a Squire is.
Oh. Being a squire was really cool, actually.
Who nominated you?
A good friend, Cade Stevens. He lives in Florida, actually, and he's like a little brother to me. And he didn't tell me. I knew nothing about it.
Will Long for me. Mr. Will Long for me.
Yeah.
So
I knew nothing about it. It was like this random day. I had this envelope come, in the mail, and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And here it was, my deed and my letter and everything for the squire. I'm very proud of being a Tennessee squire. I'm very, very, very proud. I carry my card in my wallet; it never leaves. I'm a very proud card-carrying member of the squire.
I hear you.
But it's really, really cool to be a part of something.
You ever try to get discounts anywhere? I always try to get discounts.
Yeah, I do. I've tried. It doesn't work in Canada whatsoever.
No, here either. I'll go to Jack Daniel's like sponsored events. I'll be like, "Hey, I got this. Does this give me anything?" So for you guys who don't know, the Squire, I think I don't even know when it really started. It started years ago. Frank Sinatra was a Squire. They really don't know how many members there are, but in order to be a Tennessee Squire, you have to be nominated by a current Squire. So I got nominated by Will Long. Since then I've nominated I know Wheeler. I got in. Sheena. Man, I don't even know. The list goes on. Anley, I think, was one of them. Every year, you get 3 nominations a year. I already got all 3 of mine next year taken. So, but it's pretty cool what it is. And there'll be different Squire events in your neighborhood and in your area. I know Milwaukee is notorious around Harley Davidson area that will have tons and tons and tons of Harley or Squire events. So that's always fun.
Yeah. We don't have anything in Newfoundland. There's no squire. I'm probably the only squire in Newfoundland. But whenever we go, whenever we're in Tennessee, we'll go to Lynchburg. It's not very often we don't go down and visit. I love going down there. You asked about the Squire House. If you haven't been in there, you have to be a Squire member or be with a member to go in. And it's just filled with people's, memorabilia and things they want on their plot of land. The 1 inch by 1 inch.
Was it 4x4? 4x4 plot of land? I got a deed that says I own land in Lynchburg, Tennessee. So
yeah, it's pride. I have it.
They're building the citizens up for next time when the board goes to vote on Lynchburg should be a dry county or not. They're like, no, we have 1 million squires. They're all residents of Lynchburg. They can vote that no dry county.
We should. That's a good point. We should.
For people that don't know, Lynchburg, Tennessee is a dry county, so they could sell stuff right at Jack Daniel's in their White Rabbit store. It's like collective bottles, and you could get them engraved there. You could get your church bottle. Well, you could before get your church bottles there, but all right, we got to talk about this real quick. What are we looking at on this photo?
Oh my ink! Oh my ink! My
I'm
mistake.
due. I need a new one, man. I'm itching.
Yeah, I just had a new one last month.
Oh,
Got
nice.
that up there. Yeah, I sent you the picture like right before we went on.
Yeah, I'm not even on my Facebook anymore.
Yeah, it's it's all my ink. If not for those who loved along the way, because that song means the world to me. That's
So,
actually one of the that just speaks to me.
what was your first church tattoo?
My first church tattoo. Actually,
Mhm.
that one, the if not for those I've loved along the way, was the first one.
Nice. What inspired? I mean, well, of course we know, but to you, what made you put it on your skin? I mean, what was
Uh,
the reason?
because I get with that song, like I have always said, long before I ever heard that song, everybody goes through tough stuff in life. Everybody, you'll have good times, you'll have bad times. You've got people around you, but you wouldn't be who you are today if it wasn't for the things that have happened in your life, the people in your life. You can
Mhm.
either live with regret or you can be proud of what you've lived through. I choose to be proud of what I've survived and lived through. You know what I mean? It's made me
Oh
who
yeah.
I am. All the good and all the bad, and I've got lots of bad and sad that have happened in my life, but I've got lots of amazing and wonderful things, and I think it's because I keep my heart open and try to be kind all the time. So that particular song just has always resonated with me. So that was my first one, and the design around it is from his guitar, from the hummingbird, and I had to have that on there because I love that design. Hummingbirds I'm crazy about, and
It's over my shoulder.
the, the font on that is actually the font from the inset on the Carolina on the CD, right, for the lyrics. That's the
Oh,
actual font.
nice.
So I had that like blown up and yeah. And the two little musical notes I think are on the side of it. I don't know if you can see them or not, but instead of always having Eric Church or EC on it, I have the guy who does my tattoos put the notes, the two musical notes, and they're the position of the E and the C note. So that's how I always do that when I do my church tattoos.
That's nice.
Mm.
You ever drawn a tattoo for somebody?
No, I've been asked, but I never seem to have time. And every time I draw my own, the guy who I go to changes it anyway and makes it better. So I don't even bother anymore. I just tell him the idea and he comes up with it.
I'm in the process of planning some I need so many. There's like I got 5 ideas of tattoos I want. I'm in the process of planning a few of them out, but in time. So I still gotta get my son's feet on one of them.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna play a quick game. Let's see if I get the music.
Oh no. You didn't tell me there was gonna be a game.
Yeah.
I don't like games.
Oh, there we go. I do have my music up. It's called the hot seat. I'm gonna ask you a couple quick questions. 60 seconds on the clock. We're gonna see how far you could get.
Oh
You ready?
no.
If you're on an I can't even talk. You're on an
This is the
island.
Gainin Fast on Memphis.
What is playing? There we go. If you're on an island, you're going to take one album, Eric Church album. Which one are you taking?
Carolina.
Good choice. One lyric that stands out of
One
Eric Church's.
Yeah, if not for those I've loved along the way.
All right. Best live venue you've seen him in yet?
Red Rocks.
All right. One song you want to hear him cover he's never covered before.
Oh my god. Oh, that's a tough one. There's too many to speak of. I don't know. I don't know because there's too many.
What's your favorite song in the world?
My favorite song in the world,
Mm-hmm.
of his or any song.
Any song.
Oh my lord, what's my go-to? What would be my
I
go-to?
threw an extra song or question. Oh well, you ran out of time.
I ran out of time.
Well,
But honestly, my favorite is "You Make It Look So Easy."
by Church.
Yep.
So I won't be able to ask that question. Damn. I would be like, well, picture him singing it, but he does sing it.
Yeah.
That is a dang good song to like, though.
Actually, that's what my most recent tattoo is.
Really?
Yeah, if you saw the picture, yeah, it's a
I haven't
whole
seen it. I gotta check it out.
visual from And actually, that's probably my best lyric is, you're my compass when I'm lost, my anchor when I get tossed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I'm circling the drain, you keep my crazy sane. That's me and Dion. Yeah.
God, do I know that? That's
Yep.
why we get along so well.
I
All right,
think so.
the next one was, who wrote Chief in the Sand?
I don't know to this day. Somebody tell me, please. It's the mystery of all mysteries.
I will get the answer next week.
Oh, God. Then it was
I have a
John.
feeling I know who did it.
We were all in the condo together. Who did it?
Yeah, someone did it. All
I don't
right. Is there anyone out there that you will not see in concert?
that I will not see in concert.
Like earlier today, I was kind of stalking your Facebook, going through some photos. I think I saw photos of Rod Stewart.
Yep. Awesome.
And just different shows. I got to thinking when I was planning these questions was, is there anybody that you would just not see? I mean, for myself, I know I'm going to try to have him on next year. Randy, I'm sorry, but I will not see you two. You two and Winona are two acts that they could disappear tomorrow, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But is there anybody you would never pay money to see in concert?
That I wouldn't pay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Florida Georgia Line. I've
All
seen
right.
them not by choice. They were on the lineup. I did not choose.
I gotta say I paid to see them, but I took my wife, so she wanted to see. It was FGL, Backstreet Boys, and Nelly, and that was a good show. It was entertaining. It was very entertaining.
I would say that it could be very entertaining. I've been to some great
But
shows.
that's what I say about that.
Oh my God. Which one is that? Oh my God, that was in Toronto. Yeah.
Yep.
That was at the Toronto show. That's the classic. We give that for Don. Actually,
What
Donnie
is
that, and Derek's taking it to a whole new level.
all right? What is the best thing about Canada?
Me.
Well, other than you and Sweet Caroline, what's the next best thing about Canada?
The next best thing about Canada. My God, I don't know, because I'd move down there to you guys. So probably
You would if you tomorrow if you had to decide you would move to the U.S.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you like better about the U.S. than you don't about Canada?
Oh my God. I've been to so many beautiful places and met so many amazing people. Like so many amazing people, and maybe it's just tied up in everything we've experienced in the last several years and the people that we've met. And I know if we lived there, we wouldn't see everybody every day, but we live so far away, and it's so expensive to get to where everyone is. My brother's watching, and he just said Jeff is the next best thing in Canada. So yes, my brother is the next best thing in Canada. That's awesome.
Well, Dion says the people. I will tell you, Canada is probably one of the most cleanest countries. I've only seen 3 countries in my life, but when I was young, before I was 21, I was obsessed with Kid Rock. Kid Rock was when I was like in high school in the late 90s. Kid Rock was my thing, and we would drive from Chicago to Detroit all the time, but we would stay in Windsor because we were 18 and we could drink, smoke, gamble, everything in Windsor. And we'd cross the border, go to Kid Rock in Detroit, and then go back to our hotel in Windsor. And it was always a great time. But just walking the streets of Canada, I'm like, it's just so clean. I mean, everything. That was, like I said, Windsor. It was Ontario. So
I think too, the country itself it's so darn big, and the geography of it, like, it's different from one coast to the next. Like, honestly, all jokes aside, and even though Newfoundland is so far away, it is probably one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's just a stunning place. The people are absolutely amazing and genuine and down to earth. And you're not going to get that everywhere in Canada. Just like there's places I'm sure in the U.S. you can go, you just simply do not want to go. But it's very diverse, and it's very different from place to place to place. But yeah, it is definitely, probably even more importantly, is the people, right? Proud Canadians, there's no doubt. The weather.
I agree.
The weather.
I've never met a Canadian I did not like. I'm not gonna lie at all. I've met a lot of them, but It's always been a pleasure whenever you're around. Sweet Care, all of my Canadian friends. I mean, tons of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got that Travis guy though. You gotta watch out for him though.
That's good.
I'm just joking, Travis. I love you, man.
Oh, that's funny.
So we have a lot of amazing choir that lives up in Canada. So this picture is probably my favorite picture, I think, that you and I were actually a part of.
Yep, we were Houston.
Oh, that was amazing. And then this one,
epic night.
the mighty unicorn.
Yeah, there he is.
Which leads me into next week. So if you had to put a parental advisory on next week, what would you have to say about that?
beware of the rant.
I think my beware of the church choir in the corner. So next week we do have Chris Johnson, so I cannot wait. But Joelle, we're gonna end tonight. I mean, this has been the longest show I've done yet. So I knew I was excited for this show just to talk to you because everybody else I've talked to leading up to this has been kind of the older choir that I met. Yeah. You were one of the first ones, other than Weber, that I've met kind of after like the initial church choir or the initial Eric Church wave went through. So I met you holding my own sword, I think it was. And it's just been an amazing ride. And I knew sitting down with you tonight was going to be long and fun. And we were going to have so many cool stories. Because like when I was going through and picking out pictures, like I've seen all these amazing paintings, all these cool moments that we've had. And we hung out together. So I appreciate you hanging out tonight. I really am glad that you own the longest show so far.
Oh my God. Chris is probably going because she talks too much.
No. We just had so much to cover. I mean, just so much.
Awesome.
And that's why I love seeing from the old fans to the new fans and just having everybody being a part of it.
Yeah, well, I tell you, you know this. I was like kind of nervous, so this was awesome. So thank you so much.
You.
I would do it again.
The minute we start talking, it'd be like a FaceTime of old friends just kind of catching up. And you wouldn't even know that there's people watching us right now.
Nope.
So.
Nope. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me be a part of this and for sharing and wanting me to be a part of this. It means the absolute world to me.
Oh, man. When I was planning this, there was probably about 25 people. I said they have to be my first 25, no matter what. I need to talk to them. I want to hear their stories. And I mean, and that's why it's getting hotter. Getting high. Like it's been warming up. We've been having some really good people coming on every week sharing stories. And it's getting hotter. The next 2 weeks are going to be amazing, and it's just not going to slow down. I promise you guys that. So,
awesome.
Well, thank you so much for spending 90 minutes with me tonight, and you take care. I know you're traveling right now, so you get home safe.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks.
If I don't talk to you, have great holidays too.
Yep.
I love you.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Love you. Have a good one.
Okay, bye.
Miss Joelle. Oh God, that was amazing tonight. Next week, as you can see, we have it all for you. I cannot wait for next week. You love him, you hate him, but he's one of my good friends. We're going to recap the tour, and we're going to have a good time next week.
Podcast with Aaron Shriver celebrates the music and fans of singer-songwriter Eric Church. Join Aaron again next week as he shares inside stories and life adventures with another amazing member of the church choir. And remember, everything you need to know about the world can be learned in the church choir. Thanks for joining in on the fun, and we'll catch you next time on the Gainin' Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver.